Okay, this problem says find the exact value. Now, anytime a problem says find the exact value with trig, chances are you need to use your unit circle. And so the angle that we're looking for is 5 pi over 12. If you notice, we do not have a 5 pi over 12 here, but we can use what we have and break this angle into pieces using the sum and difference formulas. So right here, we have sine of a plus b or sine of a minus b. And so we want to take this piece right here and break it into an a and a b that are on the unit circle. And let's come back over here and look. So we have pi over 6, pi over 4, and pi over 3 here. So let's work with those first. I'm going to use a different color real quick. So we have pi over 6. And so let's have a denominator of 12 and see what that equals. So if this is 12, that means I had to multiply this by 2, so I need to multiply the numerator by 2. And so then we have pi over 4. And if I want to make a denominator of 12, I multiply this by 3 to get 12, so the numerator has to be multiplied by 3 as well. And then we have pi over 3. And if I want to make it 12, I need to multiply this by 4, so the numerator is 4 pi. The reason I did this is it makes life easier. All right, so we're trying to get two things that either add together or subtract to get 5 pi over 12. Well, I notice right here I have 2 pi over 12. I could add that to 3 pi over 12 and make it. So I am going to break this guy right here into two pieces. And one of those pieces is going to be pi over 6 plus pi over 4. So now my new problem, which is equivalent to the original, is sine of pi over 6 plus pi over 4. All right, well, we have a formula. So let's go to our formula chart. Remember that this is A and this is B. So we know what A and B are. So let's write down our formula. I suggest that always. We have sine of A plus B right here. It equals sine A cosine B plus cosine A sine B. Or I'm going to go ahead and write it. So sine of A plus B equals sine A cosine B plus cosine A sine B. Now let's replace the A's and the B's with what we know. So we know that this is sine of pi over 6 cosine of pi over 4 plus cosine of pi over 6 sine of pi over 4. And now we're ready to go to our unit circle. So on our unit circle, let's start with pi over 6. So pi over 6 has an ordered pair square root of 3 over 2 and 1/2. And if you remember, the x of the ordered pair is our cosine and the y is our sine. So we know that cosine is square root of 3 over 2. So let's find that. So cosine of pi over 6 right here is square root of 3 over 2. And sine of pi over 6 was, let's make sure we get it right, 1/2. So we're replacing these with what they are equal to on the unit circle. Now let's go look at pi over 4. Here's pi over 4. They are both, sine and cosine is both square root of 2 over 2. So let's replace those. So we have square root of 2 over 2. Bring our plus sign down. Square root of 2 over 2. And now we can just clean this up. When we multiply fractions together, we multiply across the top. 1 times square root of 2 is square root of 2. 2 times 2 is 4. Plus square root of 3 times the square root of 2. Now when we multiply radicals, we can multiply that 3 and the 2 together. So we get square root of 6 on the numerator, and 2 times 2 is 4. Now, if we want to just clean this up a little bit more, we could say that this is square root of 2 plus square root of 6 all over 4. And there is our answer.